Live and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
Stop the use of substandard liquefied petroleum gas cylinder. Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria warns as the agency acquires state-of-the-art equipment to enforce standards. Standards Organization of Nigeria intensifies efforts to check the incidents of building collapse as the Director General of the SON inaugurates Standardization and Quality Assurance Technical Committee for the construction industry. Details shortly after this message.
My people, SON no be pikin. SON na Standards Organization of Nigeria. You be importer or be exporter. You don't register the market where you dey sell for son. Standards Organization of Nigeria they call you now to come register wetin you dey sell for Naija. This na to make everything wey dey Naija market get standard. If you never register, na im be say if dem bab you, you go pay all the gbese and na your pocket go hear am. Sharparly, go register the market or product where you dey sell for any SON wey near you. For Standard Organization Office, you go get correct information wey go help you know how you go take register. For more tori, visit SON website wey be www.son.gov.ng. Standard Organization of Nigeria, una dey improve life through standard.
Nice to have you join us on the program Standard and You. My name is Ifoma Okonkwo. 2 weeks ago, we brought you a story on the LPG cylinder. We told you why you should always ensure proper handling of the vessel and ensure regular maintenance of the cylinder. Based on popular demand because of the delicate nature of the cylinder, we are running that story again. And when we return, we will tell you what the Director General of the SON has done and is doing to protect Nigerians from cylinder explosion. Please take a look.
I was just trying to lose the burner again after losing the burner. So the pressure of that gas now pushed. So after the pressure now came out from there. So I was now looking as if okay, everywhere was suddenly the gas just came out from the cylinder. Then my room was white, so it was not getting good. Then the bulb was on, and my phone was on, so there was no matches. So everywhere was cold, and because the pressure of the gas, the way it comes out from the cylinder. So I now ran outside. I opened the first door, then the net, so for the gas to go out. So for just for a couple of minutes, like let's say 20-30 minutes. So I was outside waiting for the gas to go out into the air. So for maybe just wait for 30 minutes, yeah. So I was outside waiting for my neighbor, just to go and tell my neighbors and said, please, I have a gas explosion inside my room. The gas has escaped, but just give me 30 minutes. Nobody should on any light. Don't on any bulb. Don't on any phone. Just give me the privilege that for that moment, let me just keep everything so the room won't got burnt. So after then, I was on my way going upstairs to go and tell my neighbors and said, okay, ma, please don't on anything. Just give me, because I had a lot of issues in my room. So my way going, the gas, I don't know where the fire came from, because I was outside the door. I don't know the way, maybe it's the bulb, because my bulb was on. I don't know.
What bulb?
The yellow bulb, that's 60 watts, that yellow bulb. So the bulb was on then. So I don't know if it's the bulb or my phone, maybe somebody just called or a message entered. And sometimes when the calls enters, it affects. It just triggers. So I don't know whether it's the phone, but I believe that it's the bulb. So on my way going upstairs, the light just came in through the window. I don't know where the fire came from. So I just had boom from my room. So I was just passing in front of my door. So the blue one just came out and met me. I now sat down for a couple of seconds.
That was George Ike sharing his unpleasant experience following mishandling of his LPG cylinder. For Mr. Ike, it was an experience he will never forget in a long time to come, having escaped being killed by a stroke of fortune. There are thousands of people who have had one unfortunate experience from gas explosion. This explains why This all-important product should be handled with care. LPG cylinder is found in almost every home. It contains liquefied petroleum gas used for cooking. It's a flammable mixture and virtually everyone, especially women, both educated and non-literate, use it. Some of our respondents say they have had their cylinders for years and have never crossed their minds to take them to SON for certification as specified by the standard.
I sold as my second son. He was born 1983. He was born July. I started using them February or March 1983. I come here often. They may say the top is leaking. They change it for me, and I still use them.
Africans, we all believe in God's security. I believe that my God will save me. And also, I will try my best. You know, when I'm using my cylinder, at a point, you know, there is a switch there that you can off it for it not to start flowing when you're not around. So you'll be very careful when using it inside the house. And you know, sometimes when you place a cylinder outside, you don't know people are entering the compound. And at a time, you may misplace it because they can steal it. So because of that, I'm not ready to lose my cylinder yet.
For most respondents, the cylinder should be in the kitchen. But the question is the product safe in the kitchen?
Yes, it's safer outside. I learned from an incident that happened. My husband's friend, the thing exploded in his kitchen and he had how many degrees burn, and it was very terrible. So from that day on, I just put mine outside. At least when it explodes here, it's safer. My kids, my family, my properties, at least. It's safer outside.
It's actually convenient for those who live downstairs, bungalow, you know, so they could just put it outside. But those who live upstairs, say like 2 stories up and all that, it's quite difficult.
The DGSON made it clear when it stated that the agency will continue to pursue programs aimed at educating Nigerians on the need to be safety conscious.
We invested a lot of capital and human resources in training, in acquiring the state-of-the-art the LPG testing equipment. And we've been able to send our engineers even out to outside Nigeria to learn what it takes to live up to the challenges of handling LPGs in modern economy and a modern environment. And I think with time, these explosions will be a thing of the past.
It's Standard and You reaching you on the network service of the NTA. The Standards Organization of Nigeria has acquired 3 mobile testing machines to ensure the quality of LPG vessels across the country. In addition to these machines, the SON has organized training for members of staff that will man the 3 mobile testing equipment strategically positioned in Lagos to cover for the southwest, Abuja for the north, and Enugu to cover the eastern and southern parts of the country. To give us insight into the agency's activities in this regard, I have in the studio Engineer Obiora Manafa. You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Tell me what liquefied petroleum gas cylinder is.
Thank you. I'll start by telling you that our primary responsibility in the sector is to develop the standards, because you must have the basis for anything you're doing. So the standards are available. We have produced the standards. We have standards for the cylinders you mentioned. We have standards for the storage vessels. We have standards for regulators. We have standards for valves. We also have standards for the product itself. The product is LPG. So another thing is to make sure that stakeholders comply with these standards. So what we are doing now, like you rightly mentioned, the organization purchased 3 mobile testing equipment. They are more or less pressure testing equipment and what we call ultrasonic thickness testing equipment. You know, located in 3 towns in Nigeria, 1 in Lagos. That one in Lagos will serve the southwest. The one in Enugu we serve the south, and the southeast. The DG now thought it wise to provide more equipment and decentralize the equipment. So what we are now doing is to train our staff. You know, we have offices in all the states in the country. So, and we have engineers in all these state offices. So what we are doing now is, if we have a request in any state, the engineers in that state will handle the job. The only thing we can do is to send the vehicle nearest to them. The one in Abuja can go to any state in the north. Now, we are also planning to acquire more, because we know that there's need for us to provide this equipment in all the geopolitical zones. Because we have so many gas plants across the country. So just in the past week, we have trained up to 60 engineers in SON. Wow. Up to 60. We train in Abuja, we train in Lagos. Well, we're also, continuing the training. There's a joint committee now giving the mandate to ensure safety in the industry, to ensure that all the things we need to do are done, to ensure compliance, by everybody. Now we are talking of vessels. What about the cylinders? The cylinders, the lifespan of a cylinder in Nigeria now is 15 years. That's the lifespan, 15 years, according to NIS 69, our standard. But you find out that you still have cylinders of 60 years old in circulation. So one of the terms of reference given to us in that committee is to start withdrawal. We should start withdrawing all these cylinders, those bad cylinders, the expired cylinders, and find a way of replacing. Because when the cylinder is up to 15 years, you have used it enough. You scrap it and buy a new one. And that leads us to a scheme we are planning to do now. We are planning to start. We call requalification scheme. Requalification of cylinders. It is done all over the world where they use cylinders. Requalification is a scheme where a cylinder is used for 5 years. You use a cylinder for 5 years, the cylinder is sent back to the test centers, because we are going to establish test centers where cylinders will go back and re-inspected. After 5 years, you re-inspect the cylinder. If the cylinder is still okay for another 5 years, you qualify it for another 5 years. If the cylinder requires refurbishing, maybe there are some dents, there are some minor welding you need to do on them, you send them to the refurbishing center. They will be refurbished and also certified for another 5 years. If the cylinder is bad, that you cannot refurbish and they are bad, because the standard is there to tell you the criteria for requalifying it, If it is bad totally, then you scrap it. You scrap it. The way to scrap it is to send it to the melting shop, where they melt it, recycle it, and use it for another product.
Engineer, talking about safety, where should an LPG be placed around the home?
The best place and the safest practice is to keep your cylinder outside your kitchen. You keep it outside the house, because when there's a leakage, the gas will leak outside, the breeze will carry it, the air will carry it away. But when you keep your cylinder inside your house or inside the kitchen, and there's a leakage, the gas will be trapped inside your house. So the best thing is pipe it through the wall and use a pipe, PVC pipe or iron pipe, then pass the hose through it, then seal it up with cement in and out, so that nobody, can tamper with it.
What is the quality of the personnel trained, to man this equipment?
Yes, for this LPG, we have qualified mechanical engineers, registered with current, and you have to be qualified.
What's current?
Current, Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm a member of current myself, and we have all the engineers. It's a requirement for promotion. Okay. Another thing is welding. People see welding as a very common course or practice. No, welding is big. It's a big field. That is where we are looking for these people, these roadside welders that fabricate cylinders on the road. At times you see them. Somebody that is welding flat sheets, buckets. You see him working on cylinders. It is illegal. If we see them, we arrest them. Because you are not authorized to weld a cylinder.
What will be the impact of these equipment on the industry and the nation's economy?
Yes, the impact is enormous because first, we need to ensure safety of lives. Many explosions are caused by handling, poor handling, faulty handling. So all of them are there together. They want to make sure, first, to ensure that people use products that meet the requirements of the standard. That is one. Products, when I say products, I mean cylinders, vessels, that's storage tanks, hoses, regulators, valves. They are all products. Now, what about the practice itself? Handling. How do you handle your cylinders? You don't handle your cylinder anyhow. Some people come, when they buy gas, they throw their cylinder inside their boot, lying down, lying flat. It's wrong. You must, when you fill your cylinder, you must keep it upright. Because there's a valve on top of that cylinder. There's a valve. Our standard valve in Nigeria is the one we call 27 mm valve with a safety relief device. If you see our valve on top of every cylinder, you see one protruding valve by the main valve entrance. So that protrusion is the safety relief valve. Okay. What it does is if there's any excessive pressure in the cylinder, it is a spring-loaded valve. It will open up to avoid explosion. It will open up and release the pressure. So when you buy gas, and gas is liquid. That's why it's called liquefied petroleum gas. It's liquid. Yeah. But when you fill your LPG in a cylinder, the liquid settles down because it's recommended that you fill not more than 80% of the cylinder capacity. Because the one on top is air now, is vapor. And that safety valve must not be in contact with the liquid gas. You should be in contact with the gaseous, the vapor, so that if there's anything, it will go off, the pressure will go off. So when you now lie it down horizontally, it means the liquid is in contact, with the safety relief. So you must always keep your cylinder upright, stand it up when you buy it, except it's empty.
But why is the SON investing so much in this regard?
It's our responsibility in SON to ensure that when you buy something, you have value for your money. Anything you buy will not cause harm to anybody. It will not kill people. It will not cause any problem for anybody. And our act now, SON Act number 14 of 2015, it gives us so much powers to arrest any defaulter, prosecute the person, penalize the person. If you don't comply with standards, we are not police people. We don't try to chase people away from we try to encourage people to do the right thing. We try to, for the benefit of Nigerians.
Thank you so much for taking our time to educate us on this. I really learned a lot. And I'm sure viewers out there, you also have learned from this. It's Standard and New, and we'll be back shortly. There are indications that incidents of building collapse in the country will soon be a thing of the past. This is because the Standards Organization of Nigeria has inaugurated a standardization and quality assurance technical committee to enforce standards in the construction industry. For quite some time now, the nation's building material and construction industry has been contending with incidents of building collapse. This is as a result of sharp practices and the use of substandard building materials by some operators in the industry. The focus of the Standardization and Quality Assurance Technical Committee is to address the following: poor structural design, poor supervision, poor building material quality, non-approval of building drawings by relevant town planning authorities, and wrong choice of foundation.
All stakeholders, electrical, civil, mechanical, and all whatnot, and all that is relevant. So they will sit down to address these issues that the issues emanating from the frequent collapse of building and civil works in Nigeria, and find out the solution as it relates to standardization, so that we'll be able to nip some of these things at the planning and initial stage in order to save lives and properties of Nigerians. That is basically what it is. There is going to be a standing committee that will keep fine-tuning the standards and international best practices in building and civil works, so that we'll be able to get it right.
The whole essence is to see if we can synchronize the various ideas we have and put them in a form of standard to regulate the practice of building and material production in Nigeria.
The committee is expected to protect public interest during project designs and construction. The committee, which comprises various professional bodies in the building and construction industry, is also to coordinate activities in an efficient and professional manner to ensure strict compliance to requirements of the standards. This committee is at the instance of the Standards Organization of Nigeria and part of measures by the agency to tackle the disturbing frequent incidents of building collapse in Nigeria.
Hello, good to have you on the feedback segment of the program. I am Alimot Osifo. Our first message here is from Abdusalam from Lagos. It says, please, what's the essence of this new product authentication mark on products, and how will it work to stop substandard goods in the country? One of the objectives of the product authentication mark is to protect genuine manufacturers and importers from faking and product adulteration by ensuring that only certified products are in the market in the long run. Usman Muhammad from Kano says, yes, there's no hiding place for fake and substandard products in Nigeria again. Certainly, the Standards Organization of Nigeria will not relent in its efforts to reach the markets of fake and substandard products. Ayodele Gideon says, thanks, son, for the great safety control measures. Consumers need to embrace this new technology to eradicate substandard goods and create a safe environment. Thank you, Ayodele. That's it on the feedback segment of the program. For any information, you can call us or send us a message on the number 0705 972 4455. You can also follow us on any of our social media platforms, on Facebook at Standard and You, Instagram and Twitter at Standard and You _. You can also send a mail to the address thestandardandyou@gmail.com. Don't forget, we have videos online. Don't just view, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be glad you did. From the entire production crew, good evening.